Hello, all you beautiful people. Welcome back to eevee Way of Life. You're joining me here at Brewery State Park. Just wonderful afternoon. Oh my God, is that a Sherman S? Did somebody leave a Sherman S here at the park? This is incredible. I don't see anybody around. How about you and I review this wheel while we're here before they come back? So this is the Leaper Kim Sherman S, or suspension Sherman. So let's get into this before they come back. The pedals here, I have noticed immediately that I don't think this is normal. This does not feel normal, but it's kind of a cool feature. They auto retract, so maybe it is normal. I don't know. Looks like there's two little screws here. This one's wiggly, and I believe those are there to tighten it. Just kidding. They are there to tighten it, and there's about 3 threads in there, and if you start to tighten that and you go a little past finger tight, you strip it out and they no longer work. This one is stuck in because all the dust and dirt, and this one on this side, you can see there, it's out in the position I want it in and staying there, because I learned from this side that it's very easy to ruin this. This is a V3. The new ones will not come with these pedals. These spikes I don't have any problems with. The adjustment I clearly do. Even when it's retracted, I have big old feet. I have no problem with foot fatigue on this wheel really, or any issues with the pedals not feeling sizable for my feet. Something else I want to note, you see from here, you can see it's pitched out quite a bit. We'll bring you up top. A lot of pitch there, a lot of pitch. So if you look right here, there's a block on both sides. Those blocks are made into that battery casing there. So kind of like old Begode wheels, if you want these pedals to sit flat, you're either going to have to grind down the pedal where it hits that block, or grind down that block. I wouldn't suggest doing either, because it's a $4,000 wheel. Some people like the pitch. I personally don't, because this wheel is not very wide. I'll show you here in a little bit. It doesn't make a big deal about the pedals being pitched. When the wheel is very wide, like an S22, and those wheels are pitched, your legs are bowed out, and then your knees want to go in and your legs want to go in because of that pitch, and it makes a very, very uncomfortable wheel. So do note, you cannot adjust the pitch, you can't adjust the pedal height. This, now that we're talking about pedal height, is a very, very tall standing wheel. I mean, I am tall, almost 6'2", and obviously taller with my shoes on, and stepping on and off of this wheel the first couple of times felt crazy. You have to hold up 100 pounds with one leg. You feel like you're stepping off the side of a cliff. It is extremely tall. I adjust my S22 to the upper suspension geometry, which raises the pedals, and it is not nearly this tall. And if it is, there is something about this wheel that makes it feel exceptionally high. So we'll have to do a side-by-side comparison, but this thing has the highest pedals of any wheel I've ever ridden. Takes some time getting used to stopping, stepping down, getting back on. Just food for thought on that. The kickstand here, besides the boards, giving out from its weight, is very, very sturdy. However, look how sharp that spike is, everybody. I have trolleyed this thing everywhere, in and out of stores, in and out of restaurants, up and down stairs, whatever. Don't hit your shin on that, everybody. I've done it now a few times, and it's extremely painful. I actually had a gouge right there. That, still recovering, is from that through my pants, kicking it while I was just walking along, trolleying it. Great. Do away with that, Leaper Kim. It's ridiculous. It's horrible. Okay, so let's get into some more positives about this wheel. This display is absolutely fantastic. Mine is at 100% brightness, and it doesn't blind me at night because it's backlit, and during the day, even with the sun out hitting straight down on that screen, you could see and read that no problem, unlike some other wheels out there. Not going to mention any names. Begode wheels. Well, I didn't time that cough properly, did I? The EX30 has a big display, and I don't think it has the issues that the other smaller display Begode wheels have. Because this is a Leaper Kim wheel, you can adjust everything on the fly on this wheel. It's fantastic. You press and hold the button, you could change your riding mode from strong, medium, soft. You could reset your distance here because there's a little tripometer there, your cutoff angle, your speed beeps, your top speed, all of it in the display on the unit itself. You don't have to connect to it with a phone. I find myself rarely connecting to this thing ever, because you could even check voltage on it. It is quite amazing, quite simplistic, and it works. When you're standing on it, you're almost center with the wheel. You know, my feet are center on the pedals, my legs are here. When I'm riding, unless I'm, way leaning, which you guys know I don't ride that crazy, you look down and you're looking at the display. It's big, it's bright, it's legible. You could see what speed you're going. It's easy. You know, the S22, it's kind of behind you. It's harder to read. Some of the other wheels, the screens are smaller, hard to read. This one, super, super easy. The trolley handle. You lift up this guy, and the one thing I wish is when you lifted this, the trolley handle was spring loaded, at least popped up a little bit so you could grab it, or just flung up and stuck in place. I'd be fine with either, but it doesn't. So that handle is spring loaded, this is not. A lot of people have complained about this handle. Again, this is a V3, so the newer handle is slightly sturdier, slightly thicker plastic. You can twist this incredibly easy, and it is floppy. We all know trolley handles are never 100% perfect. I have trolleyed this thing downstairs, off of curbs, up and down little, grassy berms or something, and I've had zero issues with this trolley handle. It's flat, it's a good mounting surface for seats, like my bungee seat here. The stock seat is like this big and basically useless, throw it in the garbage. But the trolley handle's great. Because the wheel is very tall, it makes it very narrow, makes it very comfortable, makes the trolley handle taller. I am tall, 6'2"-ish. And I have zero issues trolleying this wheel. It's like trolleying my S18 all over again. It's very comfortable, it's very easy, it fits my height. It's obviously not adjustable. My S22, I'm like hunched over, it's unstable, it's uncomfortable. I constantly feel like I'm losing it because the handle is so short. Okay, so enough about that. That lifts, it goes back down on its own. Handle in the back, handle in the front. They are completely metal, and they're powder coated in something rubberized, I don't know. You could see what looks like scratches there, but you can't even feel them. I was off-roading this chunk of a beast, and I hit kind of a berm. It's mountain bike trail, 99 pounds plus my weight of 220. The dirt kind of just gave out to the side, and the wheel went ka-smash! And you could kind of see there's some little marks around it, but none of them are like jagged metal. None of it's dented, none of it's sharp. I can't even feel those ones. It's like visible pattern now. It did amazingly well. I thought I was gonna pick it up and be sad that, silver metal or sharp edges were gonna be showing. Nothing. Held up fantastic. They're also extremely sturdy. So when you're grabbing onto this to lift the wheel up for whatever reason, it does amazing. It's best handles by far on anything, period. That's a wheel. The next thing I want to get into is you guys probably never seen me riding seated on these wheels. I don't ride seated very often. I can't easily sit down at my height without my butt going way off the back of the wheel on any wheel. I've tried it a bunch and I just can't. So when you see me seated riding, I start off from a stop on my butt and go. I don't sit down while I'm riding. This wheel, because of this handle, as a new seated rider, when you squat down, you feel like you're going on your tippy toes, your butt's way off the back of the wheel. You could grab that handle and actually pull yourself forward. So you start to squat, grab the handle, pull yourself onto the seat. Even if you don't have a taller seat, it's still super easy. I've never been able to do that on any wheel ever, and I could do it on this wheel, and it is quite impressive and easy. And once you do it 2-3 times, you're like, oh, okay, seated riding's easy and fun, and that makes it incredibly easy. Something I want to note is I have a tall SUV. I put this thing on the back seats. I have like a dog cover thingy in there so my seats don't get all marred up. I could barely pick this up with that handle and that handle and lift it that high. Shoulder shrug, press it that high into the car. So what I do, I can show you guys a little clip of it if you want, is I actually grab the front handle here, and my other hand I grab this. I grab this like a handle. It's sturdy enough, it has no problems, it's easy, and it works. So I grab that, and I actually lift it. Better momentum, better leverage, better center in the wheel rather than all the way at the top. So if you have this wheel, you plan on getting this wheel, you're smaller, and you know it's heavy, that is the way to get it into your car. Trust me, it's easy. So one thing I want to get into is the lights on this thing. Headlight, impressive. Tail light, garbage. Even during the night, it is almost useless. It is so dim. It adjusts, the tail light adjusts, but if you look in here, the screw rotates as you adjust it, and it constantly comes loose. There is a washer and lock washer on both sides. They're easy to get to, but I find after about 10 to 30 miles, these are loose, both the headlight and the tail light. I also, you know, from off-roading, stairs, whatever, they come loose. It's very annoying. If you look at these ones, there's a different screw in there because I lost one of them. It fell out. Luckily, I didn't lose the tail light, but it happened. I, when I'm riding, have my headlight out, and if I see people coming, cars, whatever, and I try not to blind them, I reach down real quick and tilt it down, and obviously that motion will make it loose. So, tail light sucks, headlight's great, mounting is okay. The laser beams, you can see, mine are very even. They're almost even in brightness. And the button here no longer works to turn them on and off. That happened like day one. It doesn't click, doesn't do anything. I tried to take it apart, but I was able to get them to come on, and I just leave them on now. So lasers are cool. I don't know if they're doing away with the lasers like they did away with this sweet pedal. However, if you get them on, just leave them on. Don't turn them on and off. The button will break. You'll be screwed. Okay, so we've covered a lot. We'll get to the mud flap. Everybody wants to know about mud flaps. The fender here. It's stiff, it wobbles around, but it's hard, thick plastic. Obviously very dusty. I don't think you can prevent that on anything, even vehicles. Front one, it's thicker plastic. Wiggles not nearly as much. It's a little, extremely sharp on this edge, everybody. Watch out for running your finger on that. Mine's a little offset, but it doesn't rub, doesn't make any weird noises, doesn't vibrate and rattle, so I'm happy with them. They are great, they're hard mounted in there, and if you look up inside there, it is extremely clean, very clean. One thing I want to note, I'm gonna set you guys down for this, but let's pick up this wheel. Didn't beep, right? Very odd, but watch what happens. Oh, lost you. All right, you're back with me. I don't know if you heard that beep. It is the beeper that's up underneath the headlight here, that white thing. It is so incredibly loud. I don't want to tilt this thing while it's on anywhere in public. It is embarrassing, it's loud, people think this thing is gonna explode, it's a bomb. I don't care, I don't know. You can't adjust that beeper volume like you can other wheels. You could probably get some cotton, some tape, cover it up. Some people unplug it. That kind of defeats the purpose of the beeper, but it is incredibly loud. There's no kill switch. This is not a kill switch. There's no button. There's no button sequence. So you have to tilt it over like that to kill the motor in order to put it in its kickstand, just like the M10-4. I hope that they make a firmware update where I can push a button to kill it, because that beeping is stupid. I always warn people, like if I'm at a restaurant or something, I'm like, it's just warning, this is gonna be loud, and I tilt it over really fast and make it do it, which is a very long beep too. So, the last thing I want to cover, I mean, the build quality is amazing. We all know it. I'm a little behind. I got this wheel because it was a whim buy, impulse at eevees, but this suspension here, it is truly like nothing I've ever ridden. Nothing, period. Like you see, I keep telling people it's like riding a trophy truck. Look up trophy trucks on YouTube and you'll see what I mean. The body stays like this and the entire wheels are going like this while the body is not moving. That is this wheel. The Patton I rode, I was like, this is impressive. Now that I've had several hundred miles on this, it is amazing. I look at my S22, I look at my here, I look at my other wheels, and I grab this wheel. I don't know if you haven't seen the S22 in a while. It's because I've been riding this everywhere. So, biggest thing everybody needs to know, the preload here. I have the 62 pound. I'm 220 pounds. The suspension is amazing. But the preload, you turn it this way, the gold here, turn it this way to increase preload, turn it back to decrease. It's on the minimum setting, the least amount of preload out of the box, Patton and the Sherman S. I tried with the 18mm wrench. Pause. This wheel, unlike every other wheel known to EUC history, does not come with any tools to adjust the suspension. eevees didn't have any tools because their service center moved. And I had to drive down to Home Depot to get a 18mm wrench, which cost me like 12 bucks or 15 bucks or something, to adjust this, and a flathead screwdriver. I was at like 26 bucks just to adjust the suspension on this. Very upset. Needless to say, I tried adjusting the preload, and this red nut kept spinning when I would turn the gold nut, and I was like, that in my head doesn't seem right. This should stay still, this should rotate, something should indicate that something's happening. Needless to say, by the time I got home from my trip, I had to put a large crescent wrench on the red nut there, and my 18mm wrench I had to buy on the gold, and I was turning back and forth, and the amount of force it took to break that gold nut free was incredible. And once it did, it spins easily, not by hand but with a wrench, and you could start to see this red come up, and on this side the blue comes up. As you twist it towards the plus, this comes up, and you know you're adding preload. So for anybody that thinks that the preload's not adjusting, take that into note and take this into consideration, that this comes out. If yours is not coming out, you're just spinning the entire assembly and nothing is happening. So with that, this is about 30 to 40% preload. My rebound is about 10 to 12 clicks. My compression's at 0, maybe 1. I have found that even with my weight and 62 pounds, that at 40% it is like riding butter, and if I adjust anything with the compression, it is extremely stiff, and I hate it. If I take all the preload off and I adjust the compression to 1, 2, 3 clicks, it gets too stiff, and I hate it. I don't like it. I, at 30-40% here, 0 compression, only take up like maybe 20% of the suspension when I step on the wheel. So it's hard for me to bottom out. I have been going downstairs now. I've been going off curbs. I have actually done a 4-stair drop by accident. I completely cleared all of the stairs, and I didn't feel I bottomed this out. There was no clank, there was no chonk. I didn't feel like I hit the ground with the pedals. You know, it held me just fine. So don't be concerned about the 62 unless you're trying to fly with it like people do with their S22s. Just get the 62 pound, be happy. I want to note, you guys been seeing this pad here. Look how soft and squished that thing is. eevee sells these. They're extremely cheap. They're extremely comfortable. The middle doesn't add much width there. And they work. They have different widths here. They sent me the extra large, I believe, so I wanted it narrow, but it is what it is. But they're just wide enough where you make good contact for off-roading and hill climbing, and they're just narrow enough when you go to seated ride, your leg just bows out and clears it. There's nothing in the way. My pads here obviously are completely in the way, but when you're off-roading, you really need something for this thing. The suspension takes up a lot, but keeping your feet locked on a wheel this heavy is much better than not feeling the lock. But shout out to eevees for the pads. You guys go pick them up. They're like 60 bucks. They're soft and squishy. They're amazing. I would buy a second set, lower them down, and use them for a freaking jump pad. They're great. They stick on here. It's tape. I peeled and stuck them 3 or 4 times, and they have not come back off, even rolling around in my car. And I set this up against my seat, and it rolls back and forth, and they haven't popped off. So get some. They're cheap. They're amazing. They're soft. They're fluffy. They work. Do it. Okay, back to the wheel. Suspension's amazing. Handles are amazing. Pick it up from the lower one there and the front one there. It's the easiest way to get it in your car. Build quality's great. Pedals are, they have new ones. Trolley handle I have no issues with at all. Everything's serialized. It comes with a whole booklet of everything that was checked and serialized. Don't kick that. Don't do it. It freaking sucks. And the pedals are extremely high. So do note that, you know, it's very hard to get on and off this wheel as a new rider. The headlight's great. The screen is fantastic. I've never ridden a wheel with suspension this great. After this, if you guys stay tuned at the rest of the video, I know it's been long, watch it. I've actually started doing stairs, I've gone off curbs, I have been going up crazy steep hills, and this thing has been doing all of it. So thank you for staying with me with these long videos. I know some of you guys tune out pretty quick, but if you stay tuned after this, you will actually see me, never seen before, going downstairs, off of curbs, up steep hills. This wheel, although is not the most powerful, it gives you the feeling like you could do anything. It is crazy stable. It has the oomph. It has yet to let me down. It has yet to overheat or anything. And it's very empowering. The suspension makes it unbelievably soft and squishy. It takes up everything you throw at it. I've never been able to ride the boardwalk, which you'll see here too, where I felt like I wasn't feeling every single board. I tried adjusting my other wheels and it still kind of beats crap out of you. This wheel, you feel like you're floating right over the boardwalk and all the boards. It's amazing. So stay to the end, watch the rest of the videos. I will chime in and talk throughout them, but I hope you guys enjoy my overview of the Sherman S. I know it is a little late, but let's get into the ride. This is to show you how great the suspension is over the boardwalk. I have rode many wheels across this boardwalk, and you can see my legs kind of jiggling there a little bit, but nothing nearly as smooth as this wheel. If I could tune every suspension wheel I have to this, I would be one happy person. I have never tested the C Pro, so I don't know how similar it is. The Patent rides just like this, and I'm really hoping the C Pro Mini does too. I mean, you can see me going over these boards, and there's just almost no movement in my legs at all. It's crazy how smooth this wheel is off the curb. You can see that rebound there. It's not set super fast, but it is a cushy ride. Here's just a gravel parking lot I wanted to go through just for some different terrain to show everybody, you know, just how stable my legs are and how smooth this wheel is. It's very empowering. You know, yeah, it's not the most powerful wheel out there. It is a good long range wheel, which I have my video coming up of my range test on this. But for comfort-wise, it is the most comfortable wheel I've ever owned. For suspension, it is the best suspension I have ever owned. Hands down. I mean, you can see me testing it here. The travel's long, and it is cush. I mean, it is very comfortable. You'll see me here going down some stairs, and I've never done stairs before until I got this wheel. That's how much fun this wheel is right here. Just an absolute blast. So I hope you guys appreciate the video. Subscribe, share it with your friends, and as always, have a beautiful day, you beautiful people.